World Custom Practice, we have 9 items. Number 1 is pre-arrival processing. The second one, electronic panel. Third one, expiration of release from final determination of custom duties, taxes, fees and charges. And then number 4, risk management. And number 5, post clearance audit. And number 6, establishment and publication of average release times, trade facilitation measures for authorized operators. Number 8, expedited shipment. And the final one is perishable goods. Pre-arrival processing. Okay, for pre-arrival processing, there are 2 processes that we have. Number 1 is the Trade Facilitation Agreement, TFA. So for TFA, require members to adopt or maintain the procedures allowing for the submission of import documentation prior to the arrival of goods. Members are also required as appropriate to allow electronic lodgement of such document. And then the next one, we have the revised Kyoto Convention, RKC, cover the prior lodgement and registration of the goods declaration. The relevant RKC standard provide for an advanced lodgement procedure that strikes a balance between the interest of trader and the action of customs. So these are the 2 processes that should be followed by the industry to submit a declaration. Okay. So next, we have the tools, the implementation tool of TFA. There are 2 processes. We have a safe framework of standard. Okay, for safe framework of standard, the technical specification of standard, implementation for standard 1, integrated supply chain management, set out detailed procedure on the submission of data, including the import-export declaration, cargo declaration, and associated time limit. And then the next one, immediate release guideline. The guideline operate on the principle of the information being provided by the operator to custom in advance of the arrival of the goods. They provide the categorization of goods. They also identify a set of data that must be provided in order for release the goods under this category to be granted, as well as the procedure to be followed. So as you can see, for pre-arrival processing, we allow the trader or the forwarding agent to submit a declaration using this tool. Okay, for tool number 1, same framework of standard, they have to follow the set of standard that has been decided by RMCD to submit a declaration. Whereas for immediate release guideline, there is a process for the trader and forwarder to release the good without making a payment first. They can release the good and then they can proceed with the next action after the release has good. So these are the 2 that are available for pre-arrival processing. Electronic payment. The TFA asks members to adopt or maintain procedures that allow the electronic payment of duties and taxes collected by customs. The RKC requires the application of information technology to support customs operation. Each member shall, to extent practicable, adopt or maintain procedure allowing the option of electronic payment for duties, taxes, fees and charges collected by custom incurred upon importation and exportation. Revised Kyoto Convention, there is a General Annex Chapter 7, which is Application of Information Technology. Standard 7.1, the General Annex to the revised Kyoto Convention requires the application of information technology to support custom operation. The ICT guideline provide more detail and the technical information. The customs shall apply information technology to support customs operation, where it is cost effective and efficient for the customs and for the trade. The customs shall specify the condition for its application. Separation of release from final determination of custom duty, taxes, fees and charges. The TFA requests member to adopt or maintain procedure allowing the release of goods prior to the final determination of custom duty, taxes, fees and charges. The TFA contains provision relating to guarantees to ensure the payment of custom duty, taxes, fees and charges. The revised Kyoto Conventions allow for the early release of goods with a provisional or incomplete declaration and documentation. Chapter 5 of the RKC General Annex set out basic principles relating to the security required by Customs Administration. Each member shall adopt or maintain procedure allowing the release of goods prior to the final determination of custom duty, taxes, fees and charges. If such determination is not done prior to or upon arrival or as rapidly as possible after arrival, and provided that all other regulatory requirements have been met. As a condition for such release, a member may require A. Payment of custom duties, taxes, fees and charges determined prior to or upon arrival of goods, and a guarantee for any amount not yet determined in the form of a surety, a deposit or another appropriate instrument provided for in its law and regulation, or B. A guarantee in the form of a surety, a deposit or another appropriate instrument provided for in its law and regulation. Such guarantee shall not be greater than the amount the member required to ensure payment of custom duty, taxes, fees and charges ultimately due for the goods covered by the guarantee. In cases where an offence requiring imposition of monetary penalties or fines has been detected, a guarantee may be required for the penalties and fine that may be imposed. The guarantee as set out in paragraph 3.2 and 3.4 shall be discharged when it is no longer required. Nothing in these provisions shall affect the right of a member to examine, detain, seize or confiscate or deal with the good in any manner not otherwise inconsistent with the members' whose rights and obligations. Okay, next, risk management. The TFA obliges members to the extent possible to adopt or maintain a risk management system for customs control. The RKC set out the principles of customs risk management, and the RKC guidelines cover the technical aspect of risk management and customs control. The risk management compendium introduced detailed and technical information on risk management based on the practices and experience of WCO members. Each member shall, to the extent possible, adopt or maintain a risk management system for custom control. Each member shall design and apply risk management in a manner as to avoid arbitrary or unjustifiable discrimination or a disguised restriction on international standards. Each member shall concentrate custom control and, to the extent possible, other relevant border control on high-risk consignment and expedite the release of low-risk consignments. A member also may select, on a random basis, consignments for such control as part of its risk management. Each member shall base risk management on assessment of risk through appropriate selectivity criteria. Such selectivity criteria may include, inter alia, the harmonized system code, nature and description of the goods, country of origin, country from which the goods we shipped, value of the goods, compliance record of traders, and type of means of transport. Post-clearance audits. The TFA obliges members, to the extent possible, to adopt or maintain post-clearance audits to expedite the release of goods and ensure compliance with relevant provisions. The RKC set out principles of custom control, including audit-based control, and the RKC guidelines cover technical aspects of post-clearance audits. The WCO post-clearance audits guidelines introduce detailed and technical information on PCA, including practical guidance for the implementation of its process. With a view of expediting the release of goods, each member shall adopt or maintain post-clearance audit to ensure compliance with customs and other related law and regulations. Each member shall select a person or a consignment for post-clearance audit in a risk-based manner, which may include appropriate selectivity criteria. Each member shall conduct post-clearance audit in a transparent manner, where the person is involved in the audit process and conclusive results have been achieved. The member shall, without delay, notify the person who report is audited of the result, the person's right and obligation, and the reason for the result. The information obtained in the post-clearance audit may be used in further administrative or judicial proceedings. Members shall, wherever practicable, use the result of post-clearance audit in applying risk management. Establishment and publication of average release time. The TFA encourages members to measure and publish their average release time. The WCO Time Release Study, TRS, is referred to explicitly in the TFA. The TRS is a unique tool and method for measuring the actual performance of custom activity, as they directly relate to trade facilitation at the border. Members are encouraged to measure and publish the average release time of goods periodically and in a consistent manner, using tools such as inter alia, the time release study of the WCO, referred to in the agreement as the WCO. Members are encouraged to share with the committee their experiences in measuring average release time, including methodologies used, bottleneck identified, and any resulting effect on efficiency. Trade facilitation measure for authorized operators. Article 7.7 Trade facilitation measure for authorized operator of the TFA set out very specific trade facilitation measure to be provided for authorized operators who meet specific criteria, which may include appropriate record of compliance with custom and other related law and regulation, system of managing records for necessary internal control, financial solvency, and supply chain security. Standard 3.32 of the General Annex to the revised Kyoto Convention concerns the principle of special procedures for authorized persons. The RKC guideline to this standard provide detail of type of special procedures for such person as well as the authorized method. Pillar 2 of the WCO Safe Framework of Standard provide global standard for launching and maintaining an authorized economic operator AEO program. Eligible criteria for AEO should include demonstrate compliance record, satisfactory system for management of commercial record, financial viability and security, cargo, transport conveyance, premise, personnel and trade partner security. Each member shall provide additional trade facilitation measures related to import, export or transit formalities and procedures pursuant to paragraph 7.3 to operator who meet specific criteria. Hereinafter called authorized operator. Alternatively, a member may offer such trade facilitation measured through custom procedure generally available to all operators, and it's not required to establish a separate scheme. The specific criteria to qualify as an authorized operator shall be related to compliance or the risk of non-compliance with requirements specific in a member law, regulation or procedure. Such criteria which shall be published may include: number 1, an appropriate record of compliance with custom and other related law and regulation, a system of managing records to allow for necessary internal controls, financial solvency including where appropriate provision of a sufficient security, guarantee and supply chain security. Such criteria shall not be designed or applied so as to afford or create arbitrary or unjustifiably discrimination between operators where the same condition prevail, and to the extent possible restrict the participation of small and medium-sized enterprises. The trade facilitation measure provided pursuant to paragraph 7.1 shall include at least 3 of the following measures: low documentary and data requirement as appropriate, low rate of physical inspection and examination as appropriate, rapid release time as appropriate, deferred payment of duty, taxes, fee and charges, use of comprehensive guarantees or reduced guarantees, a single custom declaration for all import or export in a given period, and clearance of goods at the premises of the authorized operator or another place authorized by customs. Members are encouraged to develop authorized operator schemes on the basis of international standard where such standard exists, except when such standard would be inappropriate or ineffective means for the fulfillment of the legitimate objective pursuit. In order to enhance the trade facilitation measure provided to the operator, members shall afford to other members the possibility of negotiating mutual recognition or authorized operator schemes. Members shall exchange relevant information within the committee about authorized operator schemes in force. Expedited shipments. The TFA requires member to establish facilitative procedure to allow expedited release of at least goods entered through air cargo facilities. Facilitative measures include minimizing the documentation required, releasing expedited shipment as rapidly as possible, providing for a de minimis shipment value or dutiable amount for which custom duties and taxes will not be collected. The WCO immediate release guidelines offer a range of possibilities and solutions, enabling each custom administration to select the level of facilitation best suited to its own trade pattern and compliance requirements. 8.1 Each member shall adopt or maintain procedures allowing for the expedited release of at least those goods entered through air cargo facilities to persons who apply for such treatment while maintaining custom control. If a member employs criteria limiting who may apply, the member may, in published criteria, require that the applicant shall, as condition for qualifying for the application of the treatment described in paragraph 8.2 to its expedited shipment, provide adequate infrastructure and payment of custom expenses relating to processing of expedited shipment in case where the applicant fulfill the member requirements for such processing to be performed at dedicated facility. Submit in advance of the arrival of an expedited shipment the information necessary for the release. Be assessed fee limited in amount to approximate cost of services rendered in providing the treatment described in paragraph. Maintain a high degree of control over expedited shipment through the use of internal security, logistic and tracking technology from pickup to delivery. Provide expedited shipment from pickup to delivery. Assume liability for payment of all custom duties, taxes, fees and charges to the custom authority for the goods. 8.2 Subject to paragraph 8.1 and 8.3, members shall minimize the documentation required for the release of expedited shipment in accordance with paragraph 1 of Article 10 and to the extent possible, provide for release based on a single submission of information on certain shipment. Provide for expedited shipment to be released under normal circumstances as rapidly as possible after arrival. Provide the information required for release has been submitted. Endeavour to apply the treatment in subparagraph A and B to shipment of any weight or value, recognizing that a member is permitted to require additional entry procedure, including declaration and supporting documentation and payment of duty and taxes, and to limit such treatment based on the type of goods, provide the treatment is not limited to low value goods such as document, and provide to the extent possible for a de minimis shipment value or dutiable amount for which custom duties and taxes will not be collected. Aside from certain prescribed goods, internal taxes such as value-added taxes and excise taxes applied to import consistently with Article 3 of the GATT 1994 are not subject to this provision. 8.3 Nothing in paragraph 8.1 and 8.2 shall affect the right of a member to examine, detain, seize, confiscate or refuse entry of goods, or to carry out post-clearance audit, including in connection with the use of risk management system. Further, nothing in paragraph 8.1 and 8.2 shall prevent a member from requiring, as a condition for release, the submission of additional information and the fulfillment of non-automatic license requirements. Perishable goods. The DFA requires members to adopt or maintain procedures for releasing perishable goods within the shortest possible time to avoid loss or deterioration. The measures applicable to perishable goods include releasing them outside business hour, giving priority to examination and arranging for their proper storage. Standard 3.34 of the General Annex to the revised Kyoto Convention requires that priority to given the examination of perishable goods. With a view to preventing avoidable loss or deterioration of perishable goods, and provided that all regulatory requirements have been met, each member shall provide for the release of perishable goods under normal circumstances within the shortest possible time, and in exceptional circumstances where it would be appropriate to do so, outside the business hours of customs and other relevant authorities. Each member shall give appropriate priority to perishable goods when scheduling any examination that may be required. Each member shall either arrange or allow an importer to arrange for the proper storage of perishable goods pending their release. The member may require that any storage facility arranged by the importer have been approved or designated by its relevant authorities. The movement of goods to those storage facilities, including authorization for the operator moving the goods, may be subject to the approval, where required, of the relevant authority. The member shall, where practicable and consistent with domestic legislation, upon the request of the importer, provide for any procedures necessary for release to take place at those storage facilities. In case of significant delay in the release of perishable goods, and upon written request, the importing member shall, to the extent practicable, provide a communication on the reasons for the delay.